It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. What's happening, everybody? Geno Jones, showtime. Bam. So I'll come to you live Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Hey, listen, tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. We are only about 45 new subscribers, and then we will cross a threshold. 1,000 new subscribers, you become a YouTube partner. That means they will financially support the Geno Jones Show. They will monetize my channel and my media company, and it is so important that we support Black-owned business. Also, if you would like to support Black-owned media, especially because we really got to support our Black-owned media. Real quick, and I'll tell you again, you can support this channel, my media company, and Black-owned media via Zelle. Use my email address, Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell it at Gmail. Or you can use Cash App, $Dad G Jones, $Dad G Jones, all one word. I'll give you that again at the end of the show, because a lot of people ask me, the show is interactive. If you got a comment, if you want me to shout you out, you got a question, I got a great guest. She's returning to the show. As a matter of fact, she is part of the Geno Jones Show family. You'll see her on a regular basis. As busy as she is, she'll at least once a month you get to see her on the show, and I thank her so much because she is truly a treasure. Dr. Zakevia Kendrick, you saw her about a month ago, so we're gonna have a great conversation. A really important conversation for this time of year, holiday season approaching, which can be very tough. So off the top, once again, the Geno Jones Show, we have called for the holiday blackout. Since there's this anti-DEI effort from this regime that's in Washington, D.C., to all your corporations, many corporations, after January, punked out and decided that, black people of color, specifically black Americans, we weren't that important, that our money wasn't that important. And like my grandmother always taught me, one of her many pearls of wisdom, she said, Jeannie, don't beg nobody to take your money. Don't you ever beg anybody to take your money. So don't beg nobody to take your money. Since you have gotten rid of these corporations, have gotten rid of their DEI, they've anti-DEI. The government says we got to get rid of our DEI, go anti-DEI. So I'm great with it. So let's reverse engineer it. Let's remix it. We're going to anti-DEI ourselves, our money, our treasure, and our talent. How about that? Ask Target how that worked out for them, that $12 million a day they were getting from black people, specifically, primarily black women, because black women loved Target. They called it Target. But no, that wasn't good enough. Basically, you just gave black people and black women your ass to kiss Target. So we said, okay, how about that? How about we just not gonna spend any money? And the value of that company dropped by $12 billion in about 6-7 months. So I said from Halloween to New Year's Day, pull our money out of the economy. And this is the most important time of year for retailers. This is when they really, if retailers are gonna make a profit, this is the time every year, this holiday season. So we'll see. We're gonna have, since you want to black out anti-DEI, so you want blacks out, we're gonna black out for you. We're gonna black out our money. And then shout out to, let's see here, Black Voters Matter, Latasha Brown and Cliff Averill, co-founders, Indivisible and Until Freedom. They called for the We Ain't Buying It. We ain't buying it. I said, put the SH in front of the IT. We ain't buying shit. But they call the We Ain't Buying It. I remixed it. All you got to do is put the SH in front of the IT. We ain't buying it. Economic boycott. Now they are calling for a specific boycott of 3 major corporations that got rid of their DEI programs and supported all the DEI madness and the inhumanity. Amazon, Home Depot, and Target. So between Black Voters Matter, Indivisible, and Until Freedom, they are calling for the We Ain't Buying It. We ain't buying it. economic boycott from Black Friday, November 28th, which is a week from tomorrow, Friday, if you're watching me live, through Cyber Monday, which is December 1st. So if you got any, let me know what you think. You can leave a comment in the comment section below. If you're watching the show right now, jump in the chat room. Let me know where you're watching. I'll shout you out and let me know, are you going to support the boycotts that many people have called for? Are you okay? Like I said, don't beg nobody to take your money. If all these major corporations have basically told you, you're not important. So the programs to just really support our customers. So you don't value me as a customer. You don't value my money. I ain't begging you to take my money. All right, listen, my guest, she's returning to the show. She is a clinical therapist, a counselor, an educator, a life coach, an author, a trainer, and I know I'm leaving stuff out because that bio was too long. So I just giving you an idea of a brilliant sister, beautiful spirit, and she was my guest about a month ago, so I am so honored that she was willing to become part of the Geno Jones Show family. She has so much knowledge and wisdom to contribute. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, let's welcome back to the show Dr. Zakevia Lewis Kendrick. We affectionately refer to those that know her and love her, Dr. Z. Hello, Dr. Kendrick.
Hello,
Welcome back to
hello.
the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for contributing to the show. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my viewers. So, and thank you for being patient. I had to do my little monologue. I tried to keep it short, but I just had to get some stuff off my chest. I can hear my grandmother's voice saying, "Jeannie, don't beg nobody to take your money." So
That's right.
there's a funny,
Especially right now, you better hold on to it because we don't know what's going to happen nowadays.
You better say that again, Dr. Z. So listen, there's a quick funny story, and then we want to get right into what I want you, the conversation I want to have with you anyway. So
Okay.
Every year my grandfather it was like a Christmas club savings account. Continental Bank, no longer in business. So, and he was teaching me how to save money. So like every month, first of the month, we would go down. I would go downtown because he would go check on his Social Security check. Because my grandfather was like 75 when I was born. So
Oh, wow.
I was probably, I guess, I wasn't even 13. I was probably about maybe 11, 12, somewhere between 10 and 12. We would go downtown the first of the month. He would give me $10, and I had a passbook savings account, and he taught me how to fill out the deposit slip, write my name and my address, and deposit $10. So every year by December, I would have $120. That means I'd have money if I wanted to go Christmas shopping or whatever. So one year I took some of this money, and I'll never forget, I think the store was Carson Perry Scott. It used to be a department store in Chicago. They're no longer in business. Speaking of Target, now downtown on it's on Madison Estate. So that's like the intersection, the heart of downtown Chicago. So it's right on State Madison. So anyway, we went to Carson Perry Scott, and I can still see this sweater. It was like a cream, and it had like a gold and brown stripe. And I went with my grandfather, and apparently the folks, maybe because I was a kid, but I was a black kid, so like the woman didn't want to basically, help me pay for the order. It was just, she was ignoring me, and my grandfather, who really wasn't a confrontational man unless you really crossed the line. I wound up buying the sweater, but I guess I can't remember. I'm sure my grandfather said something, and I think I said something to the effect. And I can still hear her words. She's like, "Jeannie, don't you beg nobody to take your money. Your money is as good as anybody else's." And I never forgot that lesson, because it made a lot of sense to say, don't beg. Your money is as good. I don't care if it's a billionaire. Your money is just as good as anybody else's. Don't beg them to take your money. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of the holiday, Dr. Z,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's a wonderful time of year for many. It's a time to, for me anyway, just really bond with your family. But for many people, it's probably one of the roughest times of year, especially if you've lost a loved one or you may lost a job or you're having health challenges or somebody that you love is having health challenges. And anxiety and depression is pretty high and can be pretty tough, that
Yeah.
I've read and learned. So I wanted
Mm-hmm.
you to speak to this because, A, I can't think of anybody else more qualified, but B, and a lot of times we wear a mask and we smile and we're trying to make everybody else happy. But the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, and then you got the anxiety of trying to make everything perfect for everybody. The
Mm-hmm.
anxiety
Stress.
of when you got family don't get along, you're trying to be the peacekeeper and get everybody to show up, or you want
Mm-hmm.
the house decorated perfect and the perfect gifts. And then even if you put on top of that, like I said, if you've lost a loved one or a job or health challenges, that combination it can be very dangerous. So please, if you don't mind, speak to that.
Well, the holiday season is often portrayed as a time of joy, connection, and celebration, right? That's what we look forward to in our minds. But for many people, this time of year can intensify feelings of guilt, sadness, depression, grief, loss. It's the contrast between societal expectations, right, and the personal emotional reality that, we deal with every day, right? And so it can make the holidays uniquely challenging during this time. And there are many things that can intensify the grief on one's, well, right now I'm doing a grief group for 6 weeks,
Mm.
once a week, to help those individuals who have lost their lives to their loved ones to gun violence, or just any type of violence, whether it's domestic violence, and we talked about that too. And so during this time, it's very hard. We had just we do it on Tuesday nights. We had a young lady who just lost her son. It haven't been a month yet,
Mm.
right? And she's trying to start that healing process. And one of the questions I asked her, I said, "This is the holiday season, and I know it's hard." And so giving them some pointers, right? But it's going to be pretty difficult for her because it's a month out, right?
So
And we
so
look at
fresh,
grief,
yeah. Mm.
right? And then you have another person who actually have lost her son. It's been now 12 years. But she said it still feels like yesterday. And because this was his favorite time of year, Thanksgiving, you know, she's like, how can I deal with that? Because it's memories and tradition that we try to cope with and deal with.
Yeah.
It brings up memories of loved one who's passed away, family gathering, tradition, rituals, right? So I said to her, you have a new norm. You have to create a new ritual, right? You don't have to leave them out. Put a picture at the table,
Okay.
right? And when you go around the room, I know we as most African Americans, we have to go around the room and give thanks, right? During that
Yeah.
time. And so, the empty seat at the table is often a reminder, but and it reopen those wounds for a lot of people who just don't know how to handle. And
Yeah.
some people may not want to do that because it's a reminder,
Yeah.
right? Some people may not want to come and be around that loved one because they're like, God, you still grieving that? Well, it doesn't go away, right? And the holidays intensify that. It's a deep reminder,
Yeah.
and so, yes, help me celebrate my loved one.
So let
And so just have
give me,
something.
if you
Let's
don't mind, doctor, give us some other, because I love the idea about a picture, and I know you got some other great
Mhm,
ideas. Give us some other, in terms of some other things, what that would look like, for the holiday, be it Thanksgiving, Christmas, or both,
mhm.
or the whole holiday, just from Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's, because, like you said, some families, Thanksgiving is the big holiday. Some it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Some,
Mhm.
is New Year's Eve or be it traditionally going out to a party. Some folks only go out once a year, New Year's Eve, or just your watch services or going to church. So
Hmm.
give us some more ideas of what it looks like to kind of create those new traditions. 'Cause I think that's great. But
Yeah,
I don't think we think about that, because
right.
it's like, well, it's almost, I don't want to do something new. I want to honor what we've done. So how and help us
Hmm.
navigate that 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 push and pull, that paradox between you want to kind of honor the memories and traditions, but at the same time it may be healthier, or you can maybe add to some what you've done with some new traditions. So give us what does some more of those look like?
So some healthy ways to cope and healthy ways to honor your loved one is, first of all, acknowledge your feelings. Don't let anyone tell you how to feel, right? That's first and foremost. Give yourself permission to feel whatever comes up. Grief is not a sign of weakness. I tell people that all the time.
Thank you.
It is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of love. Number two, I want you to set boundaries, right? It's okay to say no to people, the traditions that feel overwhelming right now. You don't have to do them,
Okay.
right? Um, Create, like you said, create new rituals. Light a candle in honor of your loved one. Now you can get all kind of candles with your loved one's name. They have all kind of candles now.
Yeah, that's good.
When you say your prayer, include him. Say his name or her name. Um, make sure you cook their favorite dish.
I like.
You know what I'm saying? And say this was cooked for him and or her. And so don't do things out of expectations for other people. You know what I'm saying? To try and appease those. Um, Simplify where you can,
Okay.
because what you're trying to do is lessen those heavy emotions and those feelings that you have,
I like
right?
that. Say that again. That's I don't think I like because sometimes less is more, and less can
Hmm.
really take some of that burden and anxiety and stress of trying to make everything perfect and grieving at the same time. I love that. Yes, please say that
Yes,
again.
yeah, simplify where you can. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to just go over. You talked about everybody wanting to make sure everything perfect. Everybody want to do this. Everybody want to do that. They want you to do this. They want you to do that. Well, that's overwhelming to some people.
And a lot of
It's
times,
very
Dr. Z, the folks that want you to do the most ain't got a dime to put on nothing.
That part, right? That part. They are not, they're not contributing, but they want you to do all these things, but not take into consideration, right? That you're just pushing through. You're pushing past the pain, right? And trying to go and be purposeful in what you're doing and trying to be intentional, right? And that's taking other people's feelings into account. Wow, it's almost like you're breaking your own heart over and over again, taking everybody else's feelings and emotions into account. And you got to stop. We have to stop. And then limit social media. Please limit social media. Protect your mental space from unrealistic portrayals of happiness. Stop.
I love that. And if you don't mind, just drill down a little deeper. But I love that because the last thing you just said is
Mhm.
because it's all a part of marketing, and the marketers are brilliant marketing the holiday season, and I've seen some of the commercials. They really tug on your heartstrings, you have you in tears because it really hits, and they do that, but they're doing that to sell you something. Uh,
Right.
but I think that is so important, that you, as I call it, protect your peace. Uh,
Hmm.
but and I guess if we all in the habit of scrolling and so much, but just I can speak to it and take a deeper dive because I want people to
Hmm.
really get how important that is.
Yeah.
But these phones and devices and tablets are habitual. They become
Hmm.
habits for a lot of
Hmm.
us. But
Yeah.
I
Put your
just
phone
I
down
just
during the
stopped.
holidays.
I just stopped and want you just to kind of not just repeat it, but kind of drill down on it because that is so important. You're right because I consume a lot of from entertainment, but especially the news and the stuff
Mhm.
that's hard and just all the inhumanity. I have to unplug from all that on the weekends.
Yeah, you
Cause
need to.
so
It
yes,
will definitely consume you. So the unrealistic portrayal of happiness, Big Brother in the sky is real. People don't realize that. You look at the algorithm, you think something, or you been Google something a week ago, or you're trying to figure, especially right now, everybody's Googling, trying to find out what holiday things to put up and what to buy and what to get. And and so it's going to bring up that algorithm. People don't realize that when you are on your phone, that algorithm,
That's so true.
and you, like you said, it's going to come up, things are going to come up, and things are going to put you in a bad headspace, right? And so unplug, take a break, take rest, engage in other activities, stay away from your phones. I know that is easier said than done. I've been 120 days free from Facebook.
Really?
120 days
Go ahead, Dr.
free,
Z.
right? I've been 120 days free. But I tell you, the mental clarity and the other things that I have gotten done, right, in that time, because we scroll for 2 and 3 hours, right? And we look at those things and we try to portray those things, or we get emotional about what we see. And especially during this time of year when you see families coming together, celebrating in a way that you wish you could have done that with your loved ones, it brings an additional sadness, right? And then you start looking at the loneliness, right, that you now feel inside, that emptiness, and then you start regressing, and then and it just take you down a rabbit hole of pain, and those that deep sadness. You become tearful, you become irritable and angry, that anxiety and dread comes up, and it's a guilt about celebrating or just feeling joy, because some people feel like they need to be sad because their loved one is not here, and that's not the case either.
I say, yeah.
Some people feel like they have to be sad because their loved one is no longer here. But if you knew the personality of your people, then you knew how they celebrated life and how they enjoyed life. And they would say to you, "What you doing? Why?"
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I was just thinking that because I always, when people transition, become an ancestor, I always say, you're going to celebrate their life. And again, it's easy to say, it's easier said than done, because when it's not your
Mm-hmm.
family,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
think that is so important that we celebrate. It should
Mm-hmm.
be a celebration. I mean, of course you're gonna be sad, but uh, I I think it's the balance. But there's still a lot to celebrate. I think of my grandparents every day now, and I remember hearing former President Joe Biden say something when he came here. This was when he was running to be president back in 2020. He was speaking here, and he was speaking to somebody that they've lost some loved ones, and they knew that he had lost a first wife
A
and a
son.
child,
Yeah,
and
and a
his
son.
son.
Mm-hmm.
And what he said, I thought it was so profound, Doctor Z. He said, because they said, how do you manage the grief and push through and push on? I'm paraphrasing, and he said, one
Mm-hmm.
day when you think about that person, one day will come, the day will come, that you'll get a smile on your face before a tear comes to your eye. And I'd
Mm-hmm.
never heard it phrased that way, but I was like, and that resonated with me because when I talk about my grandparents, which is every day on the show, everybody watch it. Something that Gene Jones, who I'm named after, taught me, or Conway Jones, my grandfather. When I think about them and talk about them, I get a smile on my face now.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time, when they transitioned, I didn't get a smile. I was
Right.
sad. But
Mm-hmm.
I started focusing on everything they taught me and the
Mm-hmm.
fun things we did, the funny things that they said, and it's to this day it brings a smile to my face. So
That's right.
that's a great perspective that you shared with folks. You don't have to be,
You don't have to be
sad.
sad. You don't have to be. It is, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad, but it's not okay to stay in that place of despair.
Right there.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not okay to stay there. And oftentimes it's okay. We do have to sit in that pain for a while, and you want to feel that in order to start healing. But the reality is, if you want to start moving through and navigate through that, then you might want to seek help for real. If you feel like you're going more than it's a persistent sadness, then you might want to seek help from a grief counselor or someone who specializes in that area to be able to help you along the way. Um, like if you start losing interest in your daily activities, you're now going into a part of depression, right? Thoughts of self-harm and hopelessness, like why not me or take me.
No, you good. It's just the
Oh,
signal
okay.
can, you know,
Uh,
I always say
okay.
that the enemy, you know, you can know when you're doing something right because Satan don't sleep. The enemy try to, but no, your shot was good. It was,
Okay.
what
And
was I
the
getting?
inability to function. And then
Hmm.
people start, when this time of year, people really start using alcohol
Oh
and
yeah.
substances to cope. Yep.
Oh, I guess
Yeah.
anything to kind of self-medicate, Dr. Z, basically you
Yes.
say?
Because they don't want to feel, they
Yeah.
don't want to feel the pain that comes with that. Um, and so grief doesn't follow a schedule. And it just doesn't take the holiday, right? People look at it as a holiday. Well, it just doesn't take the holiday. Whether your loss is recent or it happened years ago, it's normal to feel some type of way during the time or not. For emotions to ebb and flow, it's an ebb and flow, right? Be gentle with yourself. Honor your journey and remember healing is not about forgetting. It's about learning to live with the love and the loss side by side.
I love that. So, Dr. Z, speak to, they're different, but they're connected, just to
Mhm.
educate the viewers, the difference between anxiety, grief, and depression.
Okay.
But they can, I'm sure they can all be connected, and they can maybe kind of kind of follow each other. You know, they can, one can be a precursor. You know, kind of
Hmm.
you start off with one and segue. But speak to that, please.
Right. And so when many people ask, there are four different types of grief, right? People don't know, and we'll be here all night talking about what the different types of grief are.
Well, I never
Um,
knew that. I never, because when you think of grief, I just, grief, you kind of say, I had no idea there were four different types of grief.
yeah, and I just talked about that in the last group and how we're going to truly go through that process and talk with others about that. And so grief is individual and unique. There are no stages, right? Grief cannot be neatly categorized, right? It brings on stress, right? It brings on that everyone grieves, the stress that everyone grieves differently. And so it's depression start when there's a persistent, lasting
Okay.
of grief, right? So you have different types. You have anticipatory grief where your loved one is sick, right? And you're going through that process and so when when you're going through that depression and that trauma, when you get that phone call that your loved one have been shot or killed, and that grief, that's trauma that you are dealing with. Um, and then you become anxious and you know overwhelmed during the grief during those stages of grief as you going through it. In addition to that, you also, when you talk about anxiety, that's when your heart start palpitating, your palms become sweaty, you feel like you can't breathe, and so all of that, all those things are connected. Grief does not travel in a straight line, right? And so you get all those things. So there is a difference, but yet they're interconnected, right? Because you start feeling those things if you don't get a hold of it, right? You can't get out of bed, depression. You stop doing the things that you once enjoy doing, right? And again, if it's persistent, there is a problem.
There you go. So, um,
Hmm. And
I,
I know you talked about with the like recent and like what does depression look like? What does pain look like? And I know we talked about earlier the football player that recently lost his life,
yes, thank you
right?
for
That took his
segueing. Yeah,
life.
yes, thank. I was just about to try to segue. So, of
Hmm.
course, you are a pro. You just you led me right into where we
He
wanted to go because all that is
right.
connected to this time of year. Because we
Hmm.
don't know what you and I talked about it off camera, that we don't know exactly what really happened, what triggered it. But who knows? Now
Right.
it could just be totally coincidental. But you never know
Hmm.
what could have been going on because it seemed like on the surface, a young man, for those who don't know, professional football player, 28, 29.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the physical peak of his life? He was playing more. He played for the Dallas Cowboys. He scored a touchdown a couple weeks ago. We found out that he had a fiance, and she revealed that she was pregnant with their child. So you would think, hey, here's this guy, professional football player, 28, 29, physical peak on a very popular team in the NFL. You would think that he had everything to live for, and you never know what a person's going through.
Yeah. And that's the sadness. And so everyone that interviewed him or was interviewed and talked about him, they didn't see any signs, right? They never said that they saw anything. But his mom she died before or during the time that he went pro.
Yeah, I think a couple years ago. Yes, yes.
Right. And so for that, that and fear and anxiety, all that, where she probably was his major cheerleader and his support, right? That fear and it comes together, right? Fear about the future and what that looks like. Anxiety is a free floating fear,
Mm.
that something is wrong, but you typically don't understand. So that's where the frustration comes. Why am I feeling this way? What's going on? But you don't acknowledge the things that is still in our brain, right? That we hold on to. And so so they become very overwhelmed. That was just one of the many issues. Another one that people was like, I didn't see that coming. That killed herself. Her name, she was Chelsea. She was 30 years old, Miss USA. Remember, she jumped to her death in
Yeah,
2022,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, in New York.
yeah.
But when they talked about it, everyone said she loved everybody. She did everything. But that is also a sign when a person overcompensate and want everybody to be happy around them all the time. That is a sign of depression. That is a sign
Wow.
that when you try to overcompensate, right? And so no one knew, but her mother knew,
Mm.
right? So I was thinking about the correlation between that young man who mom is not here, but she probably saw signs and knew that something was going on, and he did not show to the world or the other people that he came in contact with. And so when I was doing more research about Chelsea, her mom lives here in South Carolina,
Oh wow. Mm. How tough that's
right?
got to
I
be
don't know
for her.
what town or whatever,
Yeah.
what part of South Carolina, but she is here in South Carolina. And so again, being a breath of fresh air, some people are high functioning depressant individual, and that is a such thing.
Mm. Wow.
I remember years ago, after I lost my father to gun violence, my mother to cancer, and then my son to sickle cell, and then my marriage, a divorce, right? And
Wow.
I would always say, I put a smile on my face, right? Put on my makeup, put a smile on my face. Um, Anybody asked me anything, everything was okay, right? And I was speaking one year and I said, I was just a dressed up mess.
And here you are, and the complicated thing it seems for you, you are a trained professional for
Hmm.
people to open up to you to kind of help them get through it. But
Hmm.
once you take off your coat and your
Hmm.
professional hat, you're still human, and
Hmm.
you have the same emotions that everybody else has, and you had to
Hmm.
navigate that. That wow.
Yep. Yeah. And navigate those emotions and those feelings, but still showing up every day for everyone else.
I wanted to. I know we talked about it off camera because I learned, and I didn't know the statistics were this solemn for
Hmm.
men. I know it's really society in general has, done a number on women and men, but the number that society has done to men with this whole definition of masculinity, because first, whose definition? That's a whole nother show we can do. But one thing that society in general has, and I'm speaking as a man myself, and 6 decades on this planet, and family members, friends. Society has never really allowed or taught men to be complete. Shout out to his brother named Jason Wilson. I know who you is. I know you know who he is. I heard him use a term called comprehensive man. Because for the most part, it's from little boys. It's like, well, you be tough and be strong and fight, which is great. But you're never taught to tap into the range, like emotional intelligence. It's only a small range of emotions that, from a little boy that society says it's okay for you to lean into or to show. You can be tough, but you can't be tender because you don't want to be too soft. And sometimes even family members, even dads, moms, sometimes, your siblings, teach each other that. But we still have those range of emotions. But I think this society, we as men have not, and I see it changing some now. But I just want you to speak. I found out 4 out of 5 suicides are men. So to me, that's the
4
red
times
flag
higher.
right there.
Yeah, it's 4 times higher than that of women.
So
And
I
the
want you
age
to,
groups,
I want
the
to get
age
your
groups.
professional take. I'm just kind of giving you an anecdotal take as a man,
Uh-huh.
but and I'm sure you see, man, how to navigate this whole manhood thing, which society projects roles on men and women. Women are supposed to be this way, men are, and it's really done us injustice. And a lot of people do it either for profit or for control and power. But 4 out of 5 suicides are men. That's like to me, it's like a flashing red light. So kind of speak to that, and because I tell men all the time that listen, it's okay not to be okay, and if you're sad, I had a good friend of mine, he just lost his mother, and I checked on him, and I was like, hey man, listen, if you need to see a therapist, find a good one. I can turn you on to somebody because you're human. Don't try to be Superman with this, and I want you to speak to this and confirm this. I've learned that human tears carry stress hormones inside the tears. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know about that one. I've never heard that.
I've
So
heard
this
some
is new
doctors
to
say that there
me.
was that when you shed a tear, they contain stress hormones. So it's almost like a body's natural way of kind of
Natural way of releasing?
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So,
Yep. I can
speak
agree with
to
that.
what you have seen and what do you say to men, because it's hard to get, a lot of times it's hard for us to open up
Right.
because we are afraid that if we open up, it'll be weaponized and used against us, or sometimes we've just been kind of not taught to kind of understand the whole range of emotions. And it's like, if you're sad or anxious or fear, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you're human. It's
Right.
what you do with those emotions, it is the true story. But I'll let you speak to that. But it
So
just
the contributing factors for that is you have stigma, like you say, men are reluctant to seek help. Men are reluctant to talk to anybody. They look at the expectation is strength and self-resilient, and I don't need that. I'm fine. It can work through it. And then even with the mental health access today, it's far few in between, and it's hard to actually access that, especially to look for a therapist that is an African American. Men are less likely to actually reach out, and men don't have the friend group like women do.
thank you. I've been saying it. Thank you, Dr. Z. I have been, yes. That's so important. I had this conversation with Damaris. Society
Yeah.
is always it's like it's okay. It's for women it seems it's a normal part of the culture. For
Right.
men, It's not in terms of really open up and just
Talk. Y'all
talking
will sit
about.
next to each other and watch football or basketball, and that's all the conversation will be
Yes,
about. And you're dying inside. You're suffering in silence,
thank
right?
you.
And so
Yes,
you will not talk about your feelings and emotions because society says it's a sign of weakness, and it's not.
thank you. Yes,
It's a sign of strength. And so those stressors that men carry around that is burdensome, they have their shoulders slump, such as relationship problems.
no, you're right. Yes,
Those arguments that you have, financial issues,
whew.
legal troubles, when you got to fight your baby mama and they taking all of your your child support, right?
Yeah,
And you can barely make it, and you're trying to explain or you're trying to navigate those systems. It's hard. And so when that happens, people usually tend to use substance, alcohol or drug. When I say drugs, more the common theme is,
self-medicate.
marijuana
Gambling,
normally.
sexual addiction, all. Yep.
Yeah. And they take it out, but there is no true release. And so when that stuff becomes overwhelming, what can I do?
Or sometimes it's
Right?
the violent behavior, right, Dr. Z, with
Yeah,
the partner,
then you
with the
beat,
intimate
right?
partner.
You beat the closest person to you, or you emotionally and physically abuse that person, right? Trying to just get out. And it's just because you're so angry, right? Because you don't trust anybody. I had a client and his girlfriend come and she said, well, he just don't talk to me. I said, he don't talk to you because he don't trust you, right? And
Yeah.
so when I said that, his body language, like he perked up. I said, it's something that you said or did
Hmm.
that made him shut down.
Yes.
And as women, sometimes we don't understand that men are really, they're listening and they're in tune, right? But we got to look at the trauma from childhood, right? And
Thank you.
oftentimes it becomes from that parent of what they saw and what happened to them or what happened inside the home, right? When you are 12, 13, or 11 and have to fend for yourself, and there's nobody to tell you that everything's going to be okay. There's nobody there to tell you how much they love you. You got to figure out how to eat on your own. You got to figure out how to clothe yourself on your own. You can come and go. There's no boundary set for you. Right. And so when you get into a relationship, not that they're asking you to be mama, but there are some things that you need to do as a wife, right? Like, listen, be supportive, tell them you love them, do those things. But sometimes some women don't have that either because they was never given
Yeah.
that. So it is a balancing act and it's hard. Relationships are hard. But this young man said that is correct. I said, so I want you to look at your wife and tell her what happened that made you shut down, right? Because she's walking around not knowing, she's just angry that you're not talking to
Yeah.
her, right? Or that you're not giving her what she feels she needs, from as far as communication part, like you surface talk. And he said, well, there was a time, and he gave her the time, the place, and when it happened. He said, when I confessed in you something, and when we had an argument, you threw it back up in my face.
Weaponize. That's why I was weaponizing a moment when you are really open and honest.
Mm-hmm. 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 And so many women don't realize that. So you got to be careful, but you also have to be intentional on listening and loving by giving grace.
That's great.
And so all of that, because men, again, y'all suffer in silence. Women do too, but most men, that's why the suicide rate is so high because they suffer in
Yeah.
silence.
And I
And
guess
they rather
the
leave
numbers
this.
don't lie. And
Numbers don't lie.
I didn't know it was that high. And then a lot, and I don't know this kid's situation, but a lot of times I think about, I've known a lot of athletes, over the course of decades, and a lot of times they kind of carry the weight of like the
Their
whole
families.
extended family,
Hmm.
big mama, siblings, uncles, aunts, cousins, and God forbid if they got, children by multiple. It's just it can be overwhelming.
And they don't realize that them first year contracts don't be nothing.
And in pro
Like,
football, it's not guaranteed. At least the NBA and baseball, those contracts are guaranteed. But in pro
right,
football, the most violent sport, that's the one sport those contracts need to be guaranteed.
they need to be guaranteed, but that they are not because, and they know why, because they know the physical
The
that
owners,
comes
yes,
to it, the
yes.
wear and tear. The owners know about that. That's why they don't make it, a guaranteed contract because they'll be losing money left and right
And the
if they did
average,
that.
and the average length of an NFL career, it's like 3.5 years.
Mm, see,
So in that
um,
case, you don't even get to see a second contract or the big contract, because like the first contract is not the big contract.
it's
It's
not.
the second, and if you're really lucky, the third one. But
And then people don't realize they just see, oh, well, he getting $2 million. Well, half of that is taxes.
thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, whatever that number is that you see in the newspaper, cut it in half.
Exactly. That is tax. You know what I'm saying? And then, and so what you have left,
And the
you
agent got to
might
get
just,
his or her cut.
right, your agent, right? And so look at all those things that are happening before that guy even see anything, right? And so, but people don't realize that. And I know so many people that have been in the NFL and NBA, and we talk about, they're friends of mine, and I know the numbers don't lie, and so they just don't have it, and so it is all that, and so depression, all the emotion and physical challenge you face contribute to feeling lonely, isolated. That depression really hit home, and again, at this time of year, it is really hard. So you need to navigate it, but what I tell people all the time, when you're going through grief or you're going through any stage of feeling abandoned, and you talked about tears, it requires tears, talk, and a lot of time.
I love that. Tears, talk,
Talk
and a
and a
lot of
lot of
time.
time.
Man,
Mhm.
that is great to close on. But
Yeah.
listen, anybody that's watching, if you need someone to reach out to, Dr. Z, if you want to give people your contact information and where they can follow you, they can reach out to you, or with your practice if they need some help out there.
Yep. I am Divine Intervention Professional Counseling and Consulting Services. I am located at 3236 Landmark Drive, North Charleston, South Carolina. I have two other licensed social workers that's on PRN that comes in to help me out. And we're here to serve. We're here to do whatever we can to be able to help. My motto is to encourage, motivate, and inspire individuals to be the best version of themselves.
I love it. Well, give them the phone number and the email
Oh,
address.
the telephone number is
Yes.
843-640-0414. Again, that's 843-0414. www.divineinterventioncounseling.com.
And
Divineinterventioncounseling.com.
I'm sure there's a process online where they can set up an appointment. I guess you just give some background
Yes.
information
You
and
can just
everything.
go in and look, and you can look at my website and look at everything that we have. And, we come out, I do talk, I'm a motivational speaker. I love working with children to mentor them and encourage them because they are our future. And so many of our kids are so lost, and a lot of our kids are truly suffering. Depression with them is major, especially our young Black boys.
Thank, thank, thank you for speaking on that because I was just about to say men
Mhm.
and young boys because
Mhm.
there's a little boy inside of every man,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
I would say I'm sure it's the same for women. There's a little girl inside
Yep.
of every woman.
Yeah.
Uh,
And age, the leading cause of death for men age 25 to 34, is suicide.
wow, wow, the leading cause.
Mhm. Yep,
I
of
didn't.
death for men
I did
under
not
50
realize that because
in the region.
for a while it was like gun death, but now suicide is wow.
But it is by firearm.
Oh yeah,
It's,
okay.
yeah.
But I
It
mean,
is by firearm.
usually, well, I meant being shot by somebody else,
Oh, yes.
which was
No.
before that was like, but
Mm-mm.
man, wow.
hmm Yep, it is by firearm.
Anybody
Men are not
watching,
like
please
women.
reach out to Dr. Z. And if you're in a crisis and it's
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 in the morning on a Saturday night or Friday night or Sunday, isn't there like a suicide
It's
prevention hotline
988.
number?
988. I
Okay,
think it's
yes.
988. I actually had that paperwork. It must be downstairs.
Because I know
It's a
I've
new
seen the ad for it.
suicide. It's a new, we just had it at the CJCC meeting. Yeah, 988 suicide hotline. Suicide and crisis lifeline is what it's called.
Thank you. Thank you.
988 instead of 911, 988. And you can actually text that number as well.
Oh wow.
You don't necessarily have to talk. You can text. They do a chat, and then it's a website. So 988 Lifeline, and that's a suicide and crisis hotline.
Thank you.
So
Dr.
you can expect
Zakevia
someone to do
Lewis
that.
Kendrick, thank you for being part of the show. We're looking forward to
Yeah.
having you back next month because this month
Yes.
is more than half over. So
Yes.
I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, but I
hmm
just want to say thank you. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Yes.
Just the information, the advice, the guidance, and the
hmm
wisdom is you can't put a price tag on it. So thank you for being so generous and sharing because
Yes.
we don't know, but somebody could be watching this right now live
Mhm.
or the recorded edition, and you may have spoken life into somebody. This conversation, my goal is to hope to save somebody's life,
Right.
to
And
pull
I
them
always
back.
remember, I tell them all the time, a journey of 1,000 miles start with a single step. Every day, take that step, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. And sometimes it's not every day that like one moment, 1 minute, it's one moment at a time. And just breathe.
That's yes. One moment, just Lord, just let me get through this. Give
One moment.
let me just 60 seconds, 30 seconds. Let me just get through this.
One moment at a
Get me
time.
through this to
That's
the.
important.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one step at a time, one foot in front of the other.
hmm
Always just
Yep.
brilliant. Now you guys see why I love her
Thank
and we bring her on. Dr.
thank
Z,
you.
thank
And
you.
I can't wait for our February. That's going to be it. We're going to talk about love, lust, and lies.
Yeah,
So
I'm
we're
looking
not going to
forward to
talk
that.
about no pain. We're not going to bring people down. We're going to talk about some love, lust, and
Yes.
lies, and we're going to get people moving. So,
But thank you because I wanted to have this conversation. I felt and you when we talked off
yes.
camera, you agreed because this, like you said, if if you are fortunate and blessed and happy and joyous and things are going right in your life,
hmm
that's great. But I just wanted to be, I wanted to use this platform to recognize and acknowledge and be a vessel to help because there are millions
hmm
of people, like we said at the beginning, that this is a
Yeah.
very, very hard time. It's not a happy holiday.
Look at the many people that just got back to work that's scrambling right now from the federal government, that's scrambling to try and make ends meet,
Yeah.
that's scrambling to try and figure things out. They got behind on their bills and now they're trying to use the money to play catch up. And sometimes it's not enough because some people they didn't give grace because
No,
they don't care.
not at all. So, but you always do. Thank you, Dr. Z.
Thank you. You have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye, guys.
You
Thank you
too.
so much for listening.
Be blessed, and we'll get you this episode. We got some great videos, some clips. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you again, Dr. Z.
Talk to you
Happy
later.
Thanksgiving.
Bye. Same to you.
You see why we love her, guys. She is just a beautiful spirit, brilliant. Dr. Zakevia Lewis Kendrick. You can Google search her too. You can find her. And shout out to everybody that's been watching the show live. Hey, listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. I hope this show helps somebody. I hope if it resonates with you, I hope you receive all the things that Lewis Kendrick had to say and shared with us and taught us. Um, and if this episode saves, I hope it can save as many lives as possible. But if it's just saves one life. Job, I don't even want to say job well done. I'll say thank you for thank you, God, for using me in this platform as a vessel to be a blessing to somebody else. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you for watching. Tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Please leave your comments. Did you like the show? If you got a question, you got a comment, you want to share your perspective about the conversation, please leave your comments in the comment section below. That's so important. I love to read the comments, whatever you got to say, and it helps my business, my media company, and my YouTube channel. It's so important, along with subscribing, and you can screenshot, grab some of the video. Be sure to click on the thumbs up, like this and every episode. You can share it on your social media pages, share it on all your friends and family's pages. You can tag and copy and paste the link in an email, text message, whatever you want to do. Monday through Friday, the Geno Jones Show, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check him out on Instagram, Kelb Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check her and her Legacy Jones collection out. LX.NCL_LX.NCL_. If you would like to support the show financially, if you'd like to be a sponsor, if you'd like to advertise, I'd love to have you as part of the Geno Jones Show family. Reach out to me. Use my email, GenoJonesShow@gmail. That's how you spell GenoJonesShow@gmail. If you want to just individually, if you want to support the show financially support the show, financial gift. No amount is too small or too large. You can make a financial contribution. You can support the show financially, along with being a sponsor or advertising, by using Zelle or Cash App. So Zelle, use my email address, GenoJonesShow@gmail, GenoJonesShow@gmail. When you go to Zelle, type in that email address, GenoJonesShow@gmail. Once again, no amount is too small or too large. $5, 50,000, 5 million, 5 billion. It's all good. Or you can Cash App. Use Cash App, $Dad G Jones. Oh, by the way, Geno Jones Show at Gmail, all one word together. Cash App, all one word, all together. $Dad G Jones. So that's capital D, lowercase AD, capital GJ, lowercase ONES. $Dad G Jones. Thank you in advance for your support, supporting the show financially, supporting the show with your likes, supporting the show with your comments below in the comment section, supporting the show with your clicks and views, and subscribing to the channel. Thank you, guys. I love you. We'll see you. Kick off the weekend Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Until Friday, 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching. Once again, thanks to Dr. Zakevia Lewis Kendrick, Dr. Z. Thank you, Dr. Zakevia Lewis Kendrick. You'll see her again next month. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.